Welcome to another edition of Vintage Drum Restoration Garage, and we're working on another set of Ludwigs today. More junk. I think these are from 1968, Blue Sparkle set, 22, 13, 16. And here's a 73 catalog that basically shows this set in white marine pearl. That's as close as I could get to that year, because I don't have the 68 catalog. I don't have a snare drum with it. Basically this set is pretty complete. I had to get some legs for the floor tom. A friend of mine had some, and other than that, they even have the original heads on them. So let me strip this thing down. I'll put this in fast motion and we'll get to work. Well, here's this 73 Ludwig catalog that I'm referring to today. And here's this Ludwig super classic drum set that we're dealing with a 22, 13, 16. This one's illustrated in white marine pearl. Okay, now this 13 is there's the serial number there for all of you who want to know the correct date on that. You know, this Blue Sparkle's in really great shape. It doesn't look like it from what I'm looking through here in the viewer here, but really it is in really nice shape. It's got a few little mars here and there. Seems good and tight. And the interior on this one here is the clear maple with the date of not sure what that date is, the 25th of 68. But the smell on these drums, I really don't think they've ever been taken apart. It smells just like 1968. Okay, now I believe this set in 68 would have been like a transition era, because this floor tom here dated 68 January 2nd would be you know, white on the inside, but this is about the time they started going with the wood grain on the inside too, so whatever was left over got used. But these drums definitely came together, there's no doubt. You have to ask yourself, why would they put modern legs on the drum and then put the original ones back on? I have no idea. But that is one of the blemishes of this drum set. Probably the only one really that I've found so far. And I'm going to go ahead and fill these holes and put some Blue Sparkle over them. I'll show you how I do that. Once again, we can't make out this date here, but it definitely says 1968. And the 23rd of... It's just hard to make out. I can't make that out. If you guys have got an idea, let me know. These holes here are at least clean. I'll be able to dowel them, and then I'm going to put some inlay, some Blue Sparkle dots on there. I'm not trying to make it perfect, but at least disguise it a little bit. The bearing edges are beautiful on this drum, and once again, the clear interior. There's the badge on the bass drum. Back, I hope you watched my last video where I plugged these holes in this bass drum. But if you look closely, you'll see a little outline of the probably glue or whatever, you know, where the line just kind of goes around there. And what I've been doing is I clean those real good, and then I take this blue Sharpie and go around that circle to kind of blend it in a little bit on each one of these. And then what I've got here after I do that is I take some lacquer on the end of a paintbrush, and I'm trying to level out the one second. So I'm trying to level out the finish on the top here, so I'm just going around the plug here with some clear lacquer, and when it dries I'll wet sand it and get it to all blend in where you don't see that circle. A little more lacquer here. I'm going to do this one. Doesn't matter if you go well above it because this stuff will shrink. And then what I'll do is I'll wet sand it. You know, once it's good and dry. Before I buff these drums, so that's what I'm going to do here. And as you can see, it kind of blends it in a little bit more. You don't see the circles around them. Okay, so I've hit this, all these patches, I guess you'd call them, like 3 times with lacquer. I'm going to go over it one more time before I try to put a sand on it. And I'm just going to fill these in real good. That way when I go over it with a real fine sandpaper, I know that I'll cover up all these circular marks or indentations. All right, let's see how our little clear coat on these plugs worked out. I've done that 3 or 4 times, and I'm going to use a 400 grit paper and wet sand that, and we'll just see how flat it comes out. Let's have a look at that. I'll let you look at that. What we're trying to do is see if we can get rid of any shiny ring around that. I don't think we're going to get it completely. You know, it looks like they did with this drum is they actually moved the original leg brackets up and down. And that's what it looks like when you've got it all cut around the badge. Okay, so these are all buffed out. Well, this shell's all buffed out. I've taken the tape off the badge, and now what I do is I go over it with some pledge. I've already sprayed it on the shell, and I take a nice soft cloth and go over the whole shell. Okay, so I've assembled pretty much the whole drum, other than the bottom head, which I'm using calf heads on these drums. And so what I've done to seat these is you need to wet them. So you just put them underneath the faucet. And I've kind of let it dry a little bit, just enough to not get water on the drum, but have it still pliable to where it'll make it around the, you know, I'm just going to slowly seat this head on here, a little bit at a time. I'm just going to give it a quick coat of wax on it. Now I'm going to put tape around the inlay on the bass drum hoops. Got these hoops all primed, sanded and primed. Let them dry real good, and then I'm going to spot putty all the little imperfections. I've spot puttied these hoops all the way around. I showed you a little bit of that on camera. These hoops are really scarred up pretty bad. So I'm going to go around them with a 220 with my sander. Find that gets a pretty good finish on them. And then I'm going to prime them again, so I'll show you a little bit of that right now. Okay, now I'm going to go over the outside here. I just changed the paper on the sander. You can see how many little problems there were around this once you get it puttied, sanded, and the final results with the primer on it. I mean, these hoops were really scarred up. So once I prime them, I'll be able to tell exactly what condition they're in, whether they need more filler or if they're ready for a paint job. I put the first coat of black on there. Very light, a tack coat. You'll see, you can still see through it. And that helps it adhere to the hoop better. Started to assemble the bass drum here. We've got the top section done. And not perfect, but a lot more acceptable. I wish this camera would give me the true color of this. I'll bring these drums outside when I've got them all done. Maybe I can get a better representation of the true color. Well, we got these hoops all painted and they're looking real nice. Not perfect, but nice. And then I put this bass drum all together now. I've got the mount all, I took it all apart and cleaned all the threads, made sure everything was working right, tightened up right. And so we've got that all together. Next thing is I'm going to let these hoops dry for a couple days, and I'm going to clean all these T-rods and claws. And then we're going to install everything, and that'll be it. Well, we got the final assembly on this bass drum. I've got the T-rods and claws cleaned for this side. I've got an original Ludwig logo head for the front side, or the resonant side. And I've put my felt strip on there because I like those. And I've got my bass drum hoop all ready to go. Looks pretty nice. So this is the one that was the best for the front resonant side, so I went ahead and started with this one. And this head has a bunch of stick marks on it, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of buff it out real quick with the not so gritty compound. And there's a little bit of pedal rash here, and it's kind of dented in a little bit, so I'm just hitting it with the heat gun to bring the dent out a little bit, and it's out. This also helps the head seat really good. Okay, so we've got the resonant head on there, and it's looking pretty nice. You can still see some stick marks in it, but overall for this drum, that's okay. As you can see, I'm putting this calf head on, and it's been sitting around so long it's all bowed, but it fits on there. It's wet right now, and that's the way you want it. So it'll take shape. So what I do is I put the rods on that are closest to the head, and just slowly start bending it. Okay, well that about does it for this video of this Ludwig Classic set. I'm kind of digging this set quite a bit, and I'm going to leave you with some random drumming that I've done just for this video, just because a lot of guys like to hear these drums, and you know, there's calf heads on these drums and they sound a little bit flabby, so if that's not your thing, you'll know why. That's a 20-inch K on the right side. I got a 22 K. These are all from the 60s. That's a ride on the left side, and 16-inch K hi-hat cymbals. And then I've got this Schlingerland metal Radio King from the 30s that I restored not long ago. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and until the next one, I'll see you later. Stick around for a little bit extra playing here.